ready in just a minute. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, we are just about ready. A second. Welcome back. Let's see. Okay. So tonight, the announcements. We're gonna start with those. And tonight we have 2 Facebook groups that you can go to also to connect with us, and that is the Oklahoma Bigfoot Predator Watch page, Antlers and surrounding areas. Also, let me see if I can get this up. Also, Choctaw Missing and Murdered Woman and Son Center and Database. It's the, let me say that first part again because I was distracted, but there's the Oklahoma Bigfoot Predator Watch, in parentheses, Antlers and surrounding areas. We're going to do our nightly check-ins real fast. So we also have a guest that's coming on in just a little bit. But for right now, we need to give some people a call so we can check in and see about the activity in their area. We interviewed some people who are friends now. And the guest is actually sending some pictures right now, except that we are on air. So I don't know how we're going to do this right now, but hopefully right before we can get started, I can get those pictures up. But if not, we're going to just have a great conversation and discuss on what's going on. Okay, this is a grandmother from Alabama who's having an activity. We're checking in nightly, and we're asking questions and giving help with straight answers.
The email subscriber at 33432.
Now, I'm going to try this again because I think I did the same thing yesterday, and I dialed the wrong number because the 4 looks like a 9, and I think I did that same thing again tonight. So give me 1 second.
Your call cannot be.
Okay. We need to get in contact with her, but let's go with the next one. And we'll give her a call in just a minute again, because we do want to check in with her. And it's okay. People will just all have to bear together so that we can make sure we check on our friends and people who are having encounters right now. This is a tracker friend we're checking in with. He has activity in his area.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 3.
So this also means that either everything's okay, or let me check something real fast. Okay, so the call, um, uh, the grandmother in Alabama has sent a message that she may not have service at this moment, and that, well, she just wanted to say to let me know that, just in case she doesn't. So that is an okay. She is checked in. Our other tracker friend is he looks. Let me give him a quick call on looks like Facebook just to check in. We're doing this nightly with all the guests. I think I'd rather call him directly.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Okay, Steve is not here at the moment. So we're going to wait. So he will probably give us a call. So right now we do have a guest coming on in just a few moments. He did send some uh, pictures, um, and if I can get those pictures sent to my messenger, I may be able to load them real fast. But if not, we do know what this person is going through, and we have been helping with the grandmother and everyone who is having a activity in their area. So while we're going to be just a few more moments for our guest, but I do want to cover some important information for everyone here. Yesterday we had the blood moon, so I want to talk about the blood moon for just a second and how this relates to Bigfoots, and also full moons and eclipses, especially. Now, when the moon turns that red color or has that red color, which is called the blood moon, these the Bigfoots have a big kill. Now, we wasn't able to speak with the grandmother, but if you are having activity in your area, and last night with the blood moon and the eclipse, if you are having activity in your area and you need to be aware of thunder and lightning. This is during an eclipse. You'll see temperatures change, but what we're saying is that the Bigfoots hunt during these times, and they do a lot of killing at these times during the eclipses and the blood moons. They do a lot of killing on this night. That's why we say stay indoors, get your weapons ready, be prepared, and when you hear thunder and lightning, if you feel the tremble on the earth or in your house, that's Bigfoot's outside of your house making that rumble or shaking your house during a thunder and lightning time. The You will also see that the next day, if you've had crows in your areas or ravens after the blood moon or after this um, killing happens, you'll see that you don't have those crows in your yard that next day. They were called to come feast on the flesh of the killed, of what they killed. So when you have eclipses or thunderstorms, find out where that thunderstorm is. Find out where that lightning and that thunder is. Find out where that catastrophe happened, because those are Bigfoots in those areas, whether they're in cities, towns, parks, or any areas like that. Watch for um, the downed trees on those next days, because those are temporary and quick blinds. So all the birds have been called to feast today, after the eclipse, after the blood moon. You're not going to see your ravens out there, uh, and birds of prey. They're all enjoying the feast. They're all getting full and fat today. Everybody's eating. Today's the day of eating, and tomorrow is a day of disbursement. So tomorrow is the day that they collect the energies of their kill. Now, we was talking about roadside parks and traps, blinds, and structures. Also, that in the film, the Bigfoot documentary, um, which is called Oklahoma Bigfoot Predator Watch, Antlers, and Surrounding Areas, in that parentheses, just like on the group page. It is $101, and it has more information than what we're able to put out here in just this segment, because we do focus on our guests at this time. But that documentary has all the answers that you need, and the things that we talk about, we explain more in detail of what we're talking about. But when we're talking about thunder and lightning, we're talking about a group of Bigfoots called thunders, which will tremble and make that rumbling and make that sound. And we're also talking about a group of Bigfoots who make the lightning sound, or make the sparks, generate light. You'll find these during, sometimes it won't even be raining that they'll be out hunting. But always look during these full moons and eclipses, especially. These are their kill times, whenever they get to see everything almost as bright as day out there. Always be prepared and be warned about these times. What I was getting to is that a tracker friend of ours was talking about how his father was pulled down the side of a mountain in his tent, and I believe the girlfriend was also in that tent. And we've got a lot of information like this, and this is a tracker person that a lot of people know, and we know them here. They're not a part of our team. They have their own team. We do things different. And so anyway, his father was pulled down a mountainside in his tent, and luckily was released. And this also happened whenever he said that he had fell asleep. So when you're in the forest and areas like that, you need to have your own sentry. You need to have someone awake and aware at all times. Bigfoots will stalk you all day. They will be at your camp all day, in the mountains, trees, long distance trees, watching. They're waiting for that cover. They're waiting for your mistake. They're waiting for you to leave your tent there and go to town and get some hot dogs and come back. Whenever you leave, they're moving up. They're getting into the best possible position to where you can't see them. Expect your tent and your car, or even your ice chest, maybe your grill, to be the blind that the Bigfoot will use. Wherever you're at, it will be right behind that car coming up. It will be right behind that tent where you're not at. It will go around and stay right in that blind spot. Now, our like we was talking about yesterday with our eyes, the right side catches the glimpses. This is my right side, even though it's turned in the mirror. But this is my right side, to catch glimpses, blurs, shadows, and quick movement. That's what the right eye is for. The left eye is to catch images. to focus in on your images. So the left eye doesn't catch the glimpses. That's why the left eye is called your blind side. This is also your west side or your death side because it doesn't catch those glimpses. It focuses on what the glimpse was. They work together. So that's also called, like we're saying, your blind side or to get blindsided. Always remember that the Bigfoot that tries to get on your left is trying to merge with your blind side or your death side. The ones in front and off to the right, those are decoys. So be aware, be observant of that. When you're camping, remember those tents and those cars are going to be used as blinds. But also remember, there are Bigfoots called water spirits and cloud spirits. The cloud spirits are the ones who have the that generate the heat, that make the fog, the mist. And you'll see them. You'll see the fog and the mist coming with them. So when you see fog and mist coming to you in your tent and camping area or even your home through the woods, these are Bigfoots generating heat and coming at you. Be aware of that. The water spirits, they're called, and now these are translucent Bigfoots that prefer to hunt in the water. They're translucent. They'll be underneath the trees. They'll be in those shadows. They'll be along the banks. They'll be translucent. They'll have those banks, the reeds, everything right there. Or they'll be laying down with the reeds, with a reed up. We can do it. They can do it. Bigfoots float. They'll be floating, hanging by a branch, translucent, while everybody's playing and jumping off the trees and not paying attention. So look for the water spirits, especially this summer when you're fishing and swimming. Always have a sentry with you. You be the sentry for your family. And if you want to when it's your turn to enjoy, you have someone take your place to watch the woodlines, to protect your family and your friends. All the men should be, watching those woodlines. As warriors, as we're taught, we're on the outside of the tent or the camping area, watching outwards. So be very aware of those water spirits and those cloud spirits. Is what they're called. The sorcerers of old used to call them this also. Also, when the only place I would recommend barbecuing is maybe at a park a long way where everybody does it. I would not recommend barbecuing outside your home whenever you have activity because they smell that food and they want to come see what you taste like. That food tells them what you taste like. Season it up. They're going to lick that grill. They're going to scrape that grill. Now they're saying, the person here tastes like this. We also want to warn people about befriending Bigfoots. That is a very dangerous thing to do. No gifts, no food. You don't want a friend. You don't want a Bigfoot friend because in terminology of a Bigfoot, friend means taste good. They will say friend good. They're saying someone called them friend before. And that friend found out. And the Bigfoot found out friend tastes good. Friend good. Remember that. Don't house, don't even think about gifting or feeding. You're allowing this Bigfoot to come right into your own home. Because now you think you're a friend of it. It's not going to harm you. What it's doing is just moving in closer and closer and closer until friend good. Now, back in yeah, and whenever you're taking the gifts and things like that, you're actually trained by the Bigfoot. You're trained by that predator. That predator is saying, bring me more, bring me more. But if you ever run out, friend, good. So remember all that. You're putting yourself in jeopardy. Now, whenever in our old stories, how warriors would do it, being on that outside, being aware, looking outward, not looking at the campfire. We're looking outward into the darkness so that we don't lose our night sight. Once you turn, look at that campfire, you can't see in the dark. Whenever you're going through a camp area with a light or a like a fire, close one eye, but actually close your left eye. You want your right eye to be able to catch anything in the dark. But you know what I mean. Close your right eye so that your right eye will be able to see in the dark once you come through that light. Because once you go through that campsite with that fire, you lose your night sight. So always close one eye when going through light until you get back into the dark, and you'll still be able to see in the dark, and you'll still be able to keep going. Because there are traps out there, and if they're running you into a trap, you need to see to avoid. Uh, Remember, if a Bigfoot is in those areas and people are running from them, they're running in a specific way that the Bigfoot has already set into a crowd, into a trap, into other awaiting Bigfoot. So be prepared when you go out there. Carry your weapons. Be alert. So, like we were saying with the older people, we would watch everyone sleep. There would always be someone awake, even and like when our groups were together, we'd have sentries. Other people, more than one, watching in all directions, but people also watching people sleep. This is to make sure there's no bad dreams, no covers moving, no things that we can't see moving around. You always need someone, especially with children, to always check on them. Periodically go in that room and check on them. Don't say, oh, they're sleeping for 8 hours. That gives me 8 hours. No, that's saying that you're lazy and you're not watching your kids. Periodically go check on your kids. Check on those rooms. And if they've ever told you about shadows, anything underneath their bed, anything in their closet, anything looking in their window, listen to them. Clean those houses. Start with the smallest corners. Get everything out of that house, flush it out. Um, Also, Bigfoots do landscaping. And what I mean by that is that Bigfoots will pull trees out of the ground, walk them, and put them into the ground in another spot to build a better blind for them to observe you. If you look on YouTube, you're going to see things called walking trees or moving trees. So what you have to do is look at the base of the tree, the baseline of the tree. A tracker friend just texted in that he can't get a good signal tonight. So we're going to message him in just a moment just to let him know that we received his message. Actually, let me do that real fast and then we'll continue. Because I want him to know we got his message and everything is all clear. Okay. If this other tracker friend is able to just give us a activity or no activity, that'll be great too. Hey, how you doing, Tracker?
Hey, Jake.
Hey, I was just trying to give you a nightly call and just to see how things are going in your area.
No, well, everything's been pretty quiet here lately. You know, past 24 hours. Well, I had on me, so I guess it's close to be quiet, huh? But, yeah, I've been down in South Oklahoma today in Texas.
Yeah, you was talking about another Bigfoot group or something like that?
Yes, we sent a couple messages back and forth, and he's supposed to let me know when he's going to be down in this area where this place that they're investigating, you know, over, I think it's over in Murray County, and supposed to go over there and talk to them, meet them, see how everything clicks, you know.
Yeah. When's that coming up? When is the approximate time they'll be down?
He hadn't said. He'll let me know.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be good to get you down there with them, see what they're doing. I mean, as far as being able to help them and things that they might not know.
Yeah, there's I went to school in the area, and I know the area where they at, and a little bit about the history of it, and I noticed there's been some other investigating going on in that area over the years, and that's why I was saying last night, you know, I didn't even know it until I met up with him, and he, you know, dropped some names to me, and I looked them up, and I was like, oh, wow. That's very interesting. But there's one area, you know, that when I was in high school, when we decided not to go to class, we'd go to that area because it was secluded. And
hey, is that Tishomingo area, Murray?
It's north of there, now up around the Sulphur Davis area and stuff.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about, near Turner.
Yeah, over in that area, yeah.
Okay, I'm with you.
And y'all got some of that in the documentary, don't you?
We got some of the caves, in that area, but we did track in that area. Yes, you're right.
Right. And so there's a lot of interesting things going on over there.
There sure is. We found a lot of activity over there too.
Exactly. And then that's what I'm saying, as far as how many years it's been going back, you know, that's what I'm finding pretty interesting. Because, you know, I remember seeing things when I was back in high school that I thought was pretty weird. And as far as sleeping areas and stuff like that. And but
you used to live in that area?
That, you know,
you used to live in that area? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You know, I was in South Alabama for a long time. Then I moved up to Oklahoma, and I moved to that area.
Was that as a child, or because you said it went back a ways?
Yeah. Well, when I was in high school.
Okay.
So that was a long time ago.
Okay. But you remember You remember things now.
Oh yeah. There was. Oh my goodness. They've changed a lot of things now, and it was a lot different back then as far as accessible areas.
Yeah.
And, you know, we used to be able to run all over the country out there. Now they got a lot of stuff blocked off and chained off and roped off and hard to get to. But, So we're kind of looking forward to being able to see what all they found and compare it to, what I know of.
Now, if they're gonna go up to Turner Falls, whenever we tracked, we didn't have the gear to get down to where we needed to. But you know where the falls, comes over, of course.
Right.
And the right side, there's, you can make it up that way over the mountain too. It's like a path. There's even a path there, I think.
Yeah.
But we didn't take the path. You know us. We went through the holes, the caves.
Right.
And so we also went down the other side of the mountain and we crossed the river, and then we picked up tracks over there and went up the other side of the mountain. But whenever
hardly anybody goes over there.
Exactly.
Usually they stop. They'll go up. They'll climb it until they get to the river, and that's where they stop.
Yep, exactly. And that's where we started picking up most of the the structures and things.
Right, the structures, all the little signs, tracking signs that a lot of people would overlook.
Yeah. And so whenever we crossed the river, nobody does that, but we crossed it, and then we picked up tracks on the other side and followed those. But there's a cave on the back side. I mean, right where the falls go over. Right, like if I'm in the middle, there's a tree right there in the middle of the river. If you ever, if they get up there,
right,
you can't miss it. There's just one tree right in the middle of it. But directly looking at the waterfalls going downstream, there's a cave to the left on the base, right at the top of the streams, and that was I've seen a lot of activity, but we couldn't get down there. We didn't have the climbing gear or the safe gear to get in there to get a look at that. But that's an area that they should check out, but also be very careful, because that is a strategic place for them to live, I guess you would say.
Right.
And watch people from those areas. They can just dig little peepholes.
Exactly. And so there's that area all the way from that point all the way to pretty much the Texas border down there by I'm trying to think what that town is right there by the interstate when you cross the Red River.
Which interstate? 35 or 6975?
35.
Like Thackerville and
yeah, Thackerville.
Okay.
Yeah. That whole area right there is really remote.
Yeah.
And you have a few buildings and stuff spotted out throughout there, but that's a whole lot of country. And a lot of people don't, go on because it's rocky and mountainy and hard to trek. So, but that's why you hear campers with other sightings.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
And, I know I've seen a few of the different investigators down there doing Thackerville. I haven't been down there yet. Planning on going down there. But I know one found a lot of activity down there.
So whenever you decide to go, make sure you let us know. We'll meet you down there.
Oh yeah, that's most definitely.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of disappearances around the Thackerville area and attacks and stuff. So yeah, it's not where anybody want to go by themselves.
Yeah, and I didn't even know about the missing people in that area. But I mean, I do know there's missing people. I just didn't know in that area. But that makes sense.
Yeah. And over the years, and it has a really bad history as far as there by the river there in Thackerville and those woods there.
That's also right where all those camping areas, those swimming areas, beach areas.
Mm-hmm.
Right there in the Texoma Lake area.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually right at the Denison Dam, there's even a swimming area all the way up through there.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's where I was riding around through today.
Okay, yeah, you were right in. Yeah. There's not many houses out there either.
Yeah. No. And woods.
I couldn't hear that last part.
There's some Bigfoot.
Are you traveling? Are you moving? We may have lost our. Are you there?
Hello.
Hey, I thought we lost you for a second. So yeah, that area, and there's a lot of fishing and people fish at night there. I remember. Okay, we're gonna try to catch. Okay, did you hear the last part about the people who fish at night there along the bank?
Yeah, I heard you barely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you on the road or moving or something, or we're?
I'm just in a bad spot right now.
Oh, okay.
I've been having problems with the phone since I've been here.
Oh, okay. And are you around where you live?
I'm actually in the Toka area.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, there's activity in Toka.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's just so many Bigfoot investigators that come through this area, and it's like the people who live here don't understand that all the information is coming from here.
Between here and Alabama, Georgia, just about all through that whole area, all the way up into Ohio, I think it's just been active, and it's really creating a lot of investigators because of all the different sites. It's turning people into investigators.
Yeah.
Was thinking about into investigating, tracking, or whatever they want to call what they're doing. They really need to keep an open mind and listen to everything that they can learn about it. And it's one, out there with the experience.
Yes, and this is coming from another tracker friend who's explaining that the Bigfoot investigators who go out on these calls need to be more informed on the information about the Bigfoot before they go out there, because it is a dangerous situation. And I'm gonna, if you're on here, I'm gonna call you back, or I'll give you a call later or message you. But we was having a bad reception, so I went ahead and canceled that. But at least we got to check in with another tracker friend who will very soon be with another Bigfoot group that's coming into Oklahoma to do some investigations. We actually have been in those areas that they're going to be investigating, and we gave some information on where we would have looked if we had climbing gear and supplies like that. But when we was out there, we didn't have that with us at that time. Uh, a lot of places that we go to investigate are public places. So we, if we're going to go to a swimming area to do some swimming, we still will do some investigating. We want to know what's around us before we enjoy ourselves. Um, and that's what we recommend for everyone. Also, do your scouting. You've got to protect your family and your friends. There are so many people, and we just got reports from Louisiana, which in 2 nights from now, we're also going to have another grandmother, I believe, or a mother who is having activity in the Louisiana area as well. So um, we're getting calls and reports from pretty much everywhere. And also in this DVD, we show you where to look for, what to look for, um, tracking. We give you everything that you need and more than you'll ever find on any other channel. So we also talked about um, how in 2020, in the film, we actually talked about it, how in 2020, the increase of Bigfoots especially in Oklahoma, and actually I would say everywhere, because a lot of people have been reporting more Bigfoot sightings since 2020 I would say November of 2020, that we have had an influx of activity in Bigfoot. It's just like they're everywhere now. So that being said, this channel is to help give you those answers. Like the person that will be on, let's see, he will be on in just a moment, which I don't know if I've got those. Did I get those messages sent to me? Oh, okay. So we're going to be talking about the activity that's happening right now in his area. I also want to try to see if the grandmother has made it home yet. Um, it doesn't look like it. She hasn't checked the message yet, so we're going to see if we can check in with her, because she has a lot of activity and she has grandchildren. She has her daughter who lives with her also as well. And also her brother in another county is also having activity. And I'm sure you're having some kind of activity, or you have blinds or skirting is what we call it, around your area, town, or even your home. In the DVD, it does tell you what to look for and how to look for and what they look like. Um, let's see. We always talk about the ambush spot, so we want everyone to understand that your home, everything is an ambush spot. Think strategically every day. Look outside your house. Find the darkest corner where there's no visibility or the light doesn't shine directly on that corner. That's where you're going to be finding footprints. That's where you're going to be finding marks or trail marks. Your cars, and when we talk about the cars, we're saying that the cars are some of the most well-used blinds because we take cars for granted. We take our home for granted. The shed, the doghouse, that's right next to the door. Those things will get right behind it. There'll be You got small ones, you got big ones. They all work together. They all eat together. So be very careful. Know your blind spots. Know your shadows. Know your bushes. Know your trees. It is getting summertime, so everyone, please be aware out there when you're vacationing, taking picnic breaks, roadside stops. Everything is a trap. Know what the blinds look like, and they will grab cedar trees mostly, but they will use almost any tree, even an oak. They'll pull it down, and it will set just like that, and they'll be behind it. They'll be inside of it. You're going to find these if you look for them, especially at the roadside stops, picnic areas. They are around your homes. If you look for them, you will find these structures or these pull downs or these blinds. Think strategically. When you think strategically, you're going to find where the best hiding with the best view is. That's where you're going to find these ambush spots. So, um, our guest tonight, um, it's a little further north than we're accustomed to, but the activity that is happening in his area right now, what I can give you is what I know right now, because this is also coming through a friend who has suggested the channel to answer the questions that their friend needs. So this is a person that I don't, or I've only kind of talked with or just kind of read messages. But from what I understand, they are in an area that doesn't have a lot of housing in the area. So to me, that's an isolated area. They're having activity as far as seeing things that they just really can't explain. We're going to explain those also. There's blinds and traps in the areas that we're going to talk about. But we also, whenever we do an interview, we want to know what's happening right now. Everyone who, you know, comes on the show, and we know you have a story. We know you have an encounter. We know what happened with this encounter. But what we're going to do is we're going to start with what's happening right now. Those things did happen in the past, but we need to learn what we can do right now. So when the guests call in, um, you're going to see that all we're going to do is listen. We may ask just a tidbit if we need to, but for the majority, we want to hear what you are wanting to tell us, what you need to tell us. And then from that, we're going to evaluate and let you know the severity or things to deter from your areas. Always remember, these are predators. These are not cuddly, cute. When they drag you down a mountainside in your tent, that's not funny. That's not a joke. That's someone who survived. To me, that's someone who survived. With the sizes that we have seen, the 17 to 20 footers, and over, if they was to just hit somebody, if they can drag you down, well, they could easily sling that tent into a tree or into a mountainside or a car. And if you're the people inside that tent, um, like I said, these are not funny matters to us. These are serious matters, and we are glad and happy that the people survived to, have a little laughter about it. But to us, these are serious matters. Um, we also had, friends who've had face to faces. Um, we've had friends who has had their tents unzipped and Bigfoot faces stuck in it. We've had people with serious encounters. We know of people who didn't survive the encounters. We know about cover-ups. We know there are missing people. There's a lot of missing people. Uh, we need everyone, whenever you're out in the field, if you ever spot any of these things, make sure you keep your warrior eyes. Don't show fear out there. When you show fear, you become prey automatically. You have to hold and stand your ground. When you back out, back out. Don't turn your back to a Bigfoot predator. That means your prey, you're about to run, and they're about to have some fun before they eat. Don't ever turn your back on a predator. Let's see. We've been doing a lot of extra tracking, and we've been finding more than what the film is. The film shows many places that are accustomed to a lot of people around here. But what we show you is how easy people can not observe, and people who actually walk by these traps or actually walk by where a Bigfoot is setting, because we do get into those ambush spots. We show you what they look like from the inside. No one else can do something like this. No one else would do something like this, because the things that we do are they would be dangerous to other people. But we have the experience, so that it's not dangerous, and we are safe and secure every time we go out. We talk about what we're doing before we do it. Let's see. Again, our friend will be here in probably 2 minutes. But also, the Bigfoot DVD is, we have like a limited supply right now. We do have guests who do need these, and they are ordering, so we're just saying that it is limited right now. But if there is a description at the bottom, if you need to order, if you need to know, or if you want to know, or if you have someone that you care about and you want them to know, um, get this for them. Get this for yourself. Whenever we're tracking, we want to see the baseline first. That's where you're going to start. Look for toes, hooves, feet, claws, disfigured, kind of dark black skin-like feet, I guess you would say. Look for web feet. Look for like bird claws also. The configurations and with the DNA that's mixed causes different kinds of mutations and different kinds of, like the feet and facial and hand structures to the body structures. We know of serpent-like beak beast or animals who can zip up a tree circular and is quicker than a revolver being shot at it. Because a friend did shoot at this serpent creature that went around the tree so fast that he couldn't get a good shot at it. There's what people would call rakes or stick people or stick men, creatures who look almost like a skinny person but also has claws or pointed jagged hands, kind of like a sickle, I would say. Don't think that a Bigfoot is only going to look one way. There's different configurations. The one side of the face will not look like the other side of the face. Only this part will be like the man part. You're only going to see this part on the Bigfoot as far as the man part. This part right here on up will look like a deer. It'll look like a wolf. It'll look like a fox. Now on this side, it'll look like a bear. It'll look like an antelope. It'll look like a wolf. It won't be the same as this side. These are multiple DNAs. Multiple DNAs are going to have multiple DNAs in one kind of configuration. This is also why the Bigfoot has multiple organs. So it doesn't behoove anybody to shoot into the belly area. The only places that count are through the eyes, but inward towards the brain area. This can sometimes miss through the eyes this way. Shoot inward into the brain area. Also underneath the arms. That's a soft area, the buttocks and the groin area. Those are slow kill areas, the buttocks and the groin area, but they will still die because it will enter that soft tissue that they have. Uh, the Now we were talking about Bigfoot doing landscaping. We're talking about how Bigfoots will move boulders over. They will pull trees up and move trees over and slam them into the ground. Um, they'll pick trees up and push them over to form a blind with the base of the tree and a bush blind to the front of the tree. And you're going to see this around homes and especially new development homes and things like that, where there's still new landscaping taking place. The Bigfoot will move trees to build blinds when you're not paying attention. And that's why we said you have to know your terrain. You have to know where every tree is and every bush is. Because the next day you're going to come out and that tree is over here now. That bush has been moved. That stone has been put right next to the base of the tree. And now they have a perfect blind to watch you get to those food dumpsters where you dump food out. Make sure you clean your plastics and the cans. Any food that comes into the house, you need to wash those plastics and those cans before you put them into the dumpsters. I also recommend that you only take your trash out when it's time to take that trash out. Don't let it go sit out in a trash can for a week. You're going to draw predators in. When it's time to take it out, I mean, that means when that trash man's coming, that's when it's time to take it out. When that trash truck is coming through, that's when you take it out. When you're going to town or when you're going to wherever you're going to do a landfill, do it all at one time. Do everything quickly. Don't linger. Children, people can be taken when people linger. You're gonna have the kids out in the car, even if you think that they're buckled in or in the car. You're lingering on the phone. You're lingering inside. Those kids are out there by themselves. Don't linger. Don't go in and out. When it's time to go, have everybody ready, and you all go to the car. You all get in, and you go together. Don't go in and out. That's lingering. You're leaving doors open. You're leaving car doors open. You're leaving people vulnerable. You're leaving children vulnerable. So, let me make sure that we have our phone on because our guest is about to call. And okay, our problem might lie. I mean, I believe our guest is ready. So, okay, so we are ready. I think we're doing a FaceTime. So, hey, how you doing?
Hey, how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing really well. I'm glad you're here tonight. We started and we were just giving some updates and helping some people. I need a little stand or something. That red little stand that's on the blanket on the floor. So, we need to know what's been going on as far as your very earliest, as far as the latest, I guess you would say.
No problem. I'll talk for as long as I can. I got someone watching my kid right now, so
Okay.
I can only stay so long. But I'll give you what I got. Okay. So, this would have been my very first time that I had. I don't know. Everybody said it was a bear, but when you see it, you know it's not a bear.
It's a Bigfoot. It's a Bigfoot. We know.
Yeah, you guys especially. And, but I was young. I was about 12 years old. It would have been, I think that would have been the spring of 94-ish, somewhere in there, 92. And my grandparents, they retired to a place on the West Coast in BC, in British Columbia. And just a lot of weird things happened. But I played out in that forest by myself so much. I mean, I know the negative connotation that these things have towards children, and there's lots of stuff about kids. But here's the thing, and now, I'm ex special forces. I've done a lot of stuff. Whereas back then, now I hunt, now I track, I do all that stuff. I'm a farm boy, but back then, I'd walk a mile around an ant. When it came to nature, and I'm still that way. That respect is still there. It's just I hunt, I do, but I hunt for meat for my family, and that's about as far as that goes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but back then, and even when I see a bee or a spider now, something that somebody would kill, I just, take a minute out of my life to, put a cup around it and let it go, instead of, anyways, it's just, now that I know, the dark side sort of Bigfoot or whatever, because you hear lots of good stuff and everything, and
I haven't.
No. See, that's where I'm fairly new into this. I've had lots. The thing is I've hunted and tracked ever since I was about 10 years old, and I mean, I've just seen a lot of stuff. But I'll go back to the encounter. Okay, so I was up on the deck. My grandparents had this these neighbors, and their sons were Willie and Nelson, and they loved Willie Nelson. They were kind of hippies. So,
yeah.
Anyways, Willie and Nelson, and I remember I was up on the deck, and they called me over their clubhouse, their playhouse, which was kind of right on the edge of the tree line. And my grandma, my Nona, my Italian grandma, she always told me, she said, never go too close to the tree line. And I'm thinking to myself, Grandma, I run through the woods, there's creeks all around their place, overlooking the ocean, all kinds of stuff like that, right? I remember walking through Muskeg, I don't know, it's weird. It's just, I think back now, and it's just, I don't know if it's because I was kind to nature, if that was maybe a thing, I don't know. But the experiences I've been having lately have not been so great. But to finish that encounters, there's basically, I remember I ran down the stairs and I turned left to rip over to their place. I saw something big and black and not on four legs. And now I know that wasn't a bear now, especially because hunting for as long as I have, seeing the things, seeing what predators do, seeing how they move, seeing how all kinds of animals move, right? Even a moose can look like a bear sometimes, or,
Okay. I know. So
Yeah. So, sorry, I'll give you the mean potatoes. I only have a song here. Okay, so saw something. I knew it wasn't that. My grandma said something and she yelled something to it. It was weird.
Let's just say Bigfoot.
Yeah, sorry. I'm still just the stuff that's been going on has me a little bit freaked out. A little bit. So I'm, you know, I don't know. There's a lot to this, and this isn't going to be enough time to just get this done in one time. But I'll move on to 2 years ago because that's the big one. Well, that's the one that I feel like
2 years ago, right?
Or I don't know what happened, but anyways, 2 years ago I'm hunting.
2020.
And I'm in an area, kind of the Rocky Mountains, basically the western slopes of the Rocky Mountains up in Canada, up in that area. And you know, I'm tracking this elk for quite a while, and everything like took me. I was a good 5 hours into trekking him right from first light and everything. And then I came around this bend. And right where, you know where those river mouths are, but they've kind of dried up a bit, and there's really only a couple of feet of water there. But at one time, there was quite a bit more. There's probably 8 feet of water through there, right? He was right up on that bank, and I caught him right. I think because I was, I mean, who really knows, right? But I don't think I caught him off guard. I saw him before he smelt or saw me or noticed anything about me. So I kind of came like right up around this bank like this, and he was looking at the elk, which was across the clearing. So a good 150 yards right in front of me. So he was kind of cocked like this, looking that way. And that's when I think he heard me. Even though I was tracking, I was quiet. You know how they are, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, they can hear everything, right?
Yeah.
And when he looked at me, it was the weirdest thing because I wasn't afraid, but I knew that I just got this feeling. I'm like, hey, that's your elk, bud. That was my exact feeling that I had at the moment. I was like, okay, I've been tracking this thing for about 4 or 5 hours. I'm in some pretty rough bush. You know, if that is what I think it is, which at that time I had no idea. Right? At that time, I'm like, what the heck did I just see? You know, I know it didn't follow me out because it was upwind of me. I know the signs. I knew at that point because I knew enough to be out there. I knew what I should be mindful of, considering I hunt mostly alone. And, you know, you just need to be up on your predators and everything, right? And if this thing is real and if it's out there, I wanted to know about it. So then that happened, and nothing really ever happened from that. I told my wife about it. She just said, well, it was probably a bear. That's what everybody always says. It's probably a bear. And it's just, if you hunt, if you track, if you really know animals at all, you don't really have to know predators.
I know.
I mean, a bear, what's that?
I know.
Yeah, I mean, you know exactly that. Just that you don't have to know that much about animals, more than not as much as people would think, to know that that's not a bear, you know. And that's just something that I wish, I don't know. Anyways, so then fast forward, and you know, for some reason one night I just got real curious again. I couldn't sleep. My kid was up a lot. This was about a couple months ago, roughly, and I just couldn't sleep. So for some reason, Bigfoot was on the mind. So I just started searching, you know, joined a couple of groups on Facebook and everything. Then some weird things started happening around home. It was very odd. My first thought, honestly, a friend must be hoaxing me, but that's not possible because I haven't told anybody, you know, or anything like that. And I don't live that close to the mountains. Like, I live to drive a good hour and a bit, you know, to get to really any kind of foothills and, you know, lots of treed areas, like that kind of thing.
Do you have a river or a lake around you?
Pardon, say again?
Do you have a river or a lake around you?
I have a man-made type of pond lake that I have on my property, but I do have wetlands around me. I have tons of wetlands. So basically, like, I'm technically in the prairies where I am, but okay. I'm like, where I am is close to the mountains, so it's not far, right?
Yeah, all waterways are ambush spots.
Lots of canals. There's tons of canals, you know, all that through here and everything. And those, yeah, you know, those all come from what's fed right from the river, from the mountains. Like, we're not far at all. It's our back doorstep, you know. So there's that. But it's some weird things, and like lots of deer come around here and everything. But you know, when you know them and how they act. And when they don't act the way they're supposed to act, you wonder why. Then things start happening weirdly, and I don't have the time to get into that because I just really want to get off my chest what has been happening and what I saw. I sent some pictures and everything, and I know what was there when I was there. I know what I saw. You know, I went out because we're going to be going camping this weekend in the area-ish that, 8 people got taken last year, okay? They blamed it on bears, all right? I've been hunting that area a very long time. I know the area. I know the predators. I know how they act. And this was last year, right around this time last year, there was 8 people that were murdered by a bear. And and there was never one sighting, not one trail cam caught it, and not one bear trap. They put out a bounty on this supposed mother grizzly bear. There was never any signs of a baby. You know, bears don't just start doing that. And if they do, it's like once, maybe twice, you know. Even a grizzly, even if he or she, probably a she, you know, has said, this is my territory, you know. And this
Okay, we're getting a little disturbance, so bear with us. We're here.
Still here? Where did we cut off?
Where you're kind of explaining that bears don't act like this, whatever, but we track here, so we understand that this is not a bear.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're going to be camping out in this area where 8 people last year were, hang on a sec, killed by bears.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe that, but that's the official report. My buddy, who's a conservation officer out there, who's undergoing psychiatric treatment right now, by the way, you know, he got me out there because he told his boss, he's like, I got this buddy, he's a good friend, he knows the area very well, and what could have done this, you know. The things that I saw, like, it gives me chills. It gives me chills to even think about, and I think that's why, like, just a cold feeling, just even thinking about what I saw. And I've come across tons of their, you know, Sasquatch traps. I call them, because they're right along the end trails, and it's just what I would do. If I lived out there, it's probably what I would do.
Yeah.
These little things that people are like, oh, they see these things that look like little beds, and like Sasquatch would never fit in there. Why do you post that stuff? It's like, if you knew anything about tracking, and I know you do, I'm just saying to the average person, right? Yeah. If you know, you know. Yeah, I'm not talking to you. I know you know.
Yeah.
You know, you are the expert as far as I'm concerned. I'm looking forward to watching your documentary, by the way. I haven't had time yet, but I have watched most of your stuff, if not all of it, on YouTube. And I know I'm talking to the average person that keeps, no, they're not real. No, they're not real. Well, no, they are real.
Yeah.
No, they're out there.
Yes. No,
they're an apex predator, and you need to be aware of it, especially if you have kids, especially if you have a girlfriend or a wife or somebody with you, a woman, because they seem to be attracted to those things.
Yep.
That's why we're going out camping in this area. 8 people were taken, okay? I'm a little tired right now. My kid had me up. I apologize if I'm jumping around a lot. But,
I got you.
8 people, and after the 3rd one, I believe it was, they stopped posting it in the paper, and that's when my buddy called me, and I can't say his name, but
yeah, it's okay.
You know, he called me, and I went out there, and bears don't do that. You know, bears don't. They definitely don't just push somebody off of a cliff, and it's not really much of a cliff. It's more of a ravine, and that seems like an ambush. You know, there's lots of things that I said when I was out there, and it was weird because it was almost as if the guys that were in charge knew what I was saying, but they were just like, yep, this is all stuff we've heard before, and we're just gonna wrap this up in a nice little bow and say it was some rogue grizzly, and that's it. And then, you know, my buddy, he contacts me a few more times and everything through the camping season all last year, and 8 people in one area, and this is where I'm going camping this weekend. You know, I'm confident, you know, people talk a lot about things like the infrasound and everything. When I hunt, I use these special earbuds that block things like that. And they actually increase certain volumes, like twig branches, things like that. They block those types of tones and everything. Infrasound can affect you in a lot of different ways. You can get it through your eyes, because that's basically holes to your brain, all sorts of things and everything. If it's strong enough, you know, I've been around, I've hunted in all sorts of areas where big animals use that sound. You know, even big herbivores, they'll use that sound to tell somebody to piss off and go away. And I firmly believe that day 2 years ago that thing was trying probably to tell me to go away, using infrasound of some kind. And, my earbuds were just blocking it to a certain degree. I don't know why you didn't follow me. I backed away right away. I moved at parallel at first, like you do with any predator. Well, not any predator, but because I knew what I was looking at and I knew that I didn't want to look like prey, I immediately acted just like I would have, as if that was a bear or a cougar, anything like that. Wouldn't be a cougar. We both know that wouldn't be a cougar just sitting there. But, anything like that, I knew. I started to move parallel, while moving away from the elk. And that's how I know I was dealing with something that was a lot smarter than a bear, or there's nothing else out there that hunts like that, It was recognized that I showed respect. I moved away, and not at one time did I break eye contact. I did not show authority, nor did I show that I was the opposite of that, for lack of a better word right now. Mm-hmm. So that's what I attribute that to. But I went out to this area close to where we're going to be going camping this weekend. We're still going because, I don't know, when you get the itch, you got to know, And I've got a lot of cool gear, and I'm pretty comfortable with, for the most part, with whatever happens. But, I went out there, I think this was 2 weeks ago, an area that I like to buck wood. It's just it's crown land and everything. And I stopped, and it might have been one of your videos, actually, or somebody else's, and I remember said, generally you'll start to see traps and all kinds of things, like Sasquatch traps and everything, 50 to 75 yards off of a main, right?
Yeah.
Game trail especially, but like even highways and stuff. So I stop off of there's pretty much a highway, going up into the mountains and everything. And I think, let's just check it out. It's just a thought that
Let's just test it.
Last night. I do think it was one of yours.
Yeah,
and
I remember it.
Out there, I sent pictures, and I started seeing some weird stuff. I went to take a leak, and I walked up the trail. I was like, let's just see. And I started seeing, I saw this thing, in the one picture you can't really tell, but it's the opening to a cave. But then the cave goes underneath, and there's these giant logs and moss that's been thrown on there. It's old.
Yep.
I don't know any other animals that know how to do that or could do that. A beaver would not do that. A beaver would not take something or even a bear, they wouldn't take something that is a makeshift shelter and a cave type thing, patch up the one side and make it a real shelter. They wouldn't do that.
Yep.
And there was about 4 or 5 of these things, and talking about Sasquatch in the area, and there's pictures, okay? You can look at them, you can, people can say what they want to. I know what I saw.
I know.
I know what I saw that day. I didn't believe in the whole portal thing and all that until that day. When I saw, there's 2 pictures there, and the one shows 2 of them walking, one kind of gray, white-ish, that's the leader. He looks right at me. And I swear, it was in my head. It was something just said leave. It just said leave to get out, that kind of thing. And I was like, I'm 15 yards from the truck. Sorry, see, that's my watch. It tells me when I'm getting too stressed out. So that's kind of the most recent thing that's happened. There's some other things I'm not really ready to talk about yet. A lot of stuff is very unsettling because these things are, I don't know. You know more than I do. You're the expert, and I vet my stuff. I've found stuff, man, the past 3 months or so since I've been really back into this and actually carrying and everything. I've contacted some old military contacts. The ball's rolling, and I want to find out what's out there because I found some things.
Yeah,
and I want to see what they are.
I'm glad that you looked at that video and tested it.
Say again?
I'm glad you seen that video and you tested it.
Yeah, you bet.
I was just gonna make a couple of things that in 2022 we've had an influx of Bigfoots everywhere. Yeah, 2022.
Yeah.
And that's like you're saying 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago, and then last year 8 people in roughly about the same, I would say about 100 square miles, 8 people go missing, or not missing, dead.
Yeah.
They're murdered. Those people have been murdered.
Well, they drink the blood. They'll leave the body to give the impression that, they died of trauma or something. But you're gonna find that the blood's missing. They'll drink the blood out of that.
There was no logical reason that they could find. There was a coroner right there. I was standing there, and they could not find a reason why these people were dead. Some of them had been brutalized. Some of them you could tell, but you can also tell when rigor mortis sets in. When you hunt when you hunt animals enough, you can tell when rigor mortis sets in and how the body bruises after. How skin, how flesh, how it bruises.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, maybe more hunters need to get together and just explain to people, that there's very, very obvious signs and reasons why these things aren't bears, And if you're going to go out in the woods, if you're going to go camping, if you're going to be out there, you should be aware. It seems like awareness is rising, but maybe not fast enough. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, they're never alone.
No. But, I wonder about the ones... you hear about ones that terrorize villages, things like that, and there's a lot of shows out there, and I find a lot of them are, they're a TV show. It's meant for entertainment, but a lot of them like that even give good information. Like, have you heard about the Alaskan Triangle?
Well, I know that they will take entire villages.
Yeah.
And I've got friends who was a ranger out in Alaska who was telling me about the villages that were missing and people. I mean, entire villages.
Entire villages just gone.
And
or like half of them wash up and their bodies are just brutalized, and there's some weird shit happening. And I don't know if Alaska's where like the really bad ones go or something. They get exiled.
No, they're everywhere. They're everywhere.
I know, but it just I don't know. Maybe it's just because I've been on a bit of an Alaska. Like, wow, there's some crazy stuff that's up there.
Well, see, when you think about it, you're finding bodies that there's no reason for them to be.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that was happening in Alaska.
Yeah.
Brutalized bodies, couldn't find out what was, and it was the blood they were taking, sucking them dry.
And if they can't find the bodies, I find they find some teeth and a little bit of bone fragment. That's it.
Yep.
Animals don't take weapons. They don't take. You know what I mean? Like it's just. I don't know. There's
Bigfoots use weapons.
That's why I want to get out there.
They use clubs, spears, boulders. They use weapons, and also in that DVD we give a list of things like that. Also, don't ever let your reasoning change what you're seeing, and don't let anybody change your reasoning. You've seen a Bigfoot. That is what you've seen. It is around that area, and it's also, if you're getting things around your home, it's around your home. But it's not one. They hunt in groups.
Yeah.
Are you isolated? Is your home isolated? Are you like in the wooded area?
That's the thing, is I'm in the prairie, and we were planning to move closer to the mountains, but I have a neighbor about a half mile to my west and a half mile to my east, and that's it. But I'm not far from civilization, but I am in the prairie, like I'm on an acreage.
Does your neighbors know about this?
No.
Okay, what a lot of friends are doing now is that they're starting to communicate with their neighbors, but they're getting the DVD to get a group of people who are neighbors who may not know about this, just to watch the DVD together.
Makes sense.
Because we show you what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And we show you.
People need to know.
We show you the translucency. We show you what translucence. I mean, we've got them on video, so you're going, and the kids are going to say, "I've seen that."
Yeah.
But how do you explain something transparent?
My daughter, after 3 months of research now, my daughter said some things to me last year when we went up camping in that area that I wish I knew what I knew now. Because there's no doubt in my mind that she's seen what I've seen out there. And it just, she's a very pretty young blonde girl, and I just want to make sure, I don't want to ruin what we're doing, and we're very respectful when we're out there, and everything. It's a beautiful spot, and like I said,
Bigfoots don't care about respect.
I know.
They care about food.
Yeah.
And if there's no food in that area, when people go camping, their food.
Yeah.
This area that you're talking about going to, I would say don't go camping in this area right now.
I know.
I would,
especially since last year, it was right at this time, right before May long weekend. This was when the first person they found him.
yeah, and I don't want to sound like like I'm repeating, but this DVD, I always say watch it before you go camping because it teaches you what to look for, what you're not seeing, and where to look. And we show you inside these things. We did it. It's very dangerous what we were doing, but we had to get this information for everybody because nobody knows about what we call bridges, and that's where they'll drop a tree over a ravine, make a walkway, and then when animals or people walk on it, there's Bigfoot on both sides. We have to think strategic. You're military, ex-military. I am also. Just think like we're supposed to think. Where is the best? But I'm talking about your home, 50 yards out.
Yeah.
Start looking for the best strategic place, viewing place, and you're going to find where they're standing because they're going to be behind the trees. But also, their feet, they stand like this. The tree will be in the middle, so you're going to see prints on both sides matted down. It won't be like a man's, like on both sides. You're going to see them like that. You're going to find this 50 yards out from your house, and like we tell people, we're going to have to start beating this brush down. We're going to have to communicate with our neighbors.
Yeah.
Our neighbors need to know.
I don't know, some people, you think about like talking about certain things with them, and I don't even know how that would start.
They want someone to bring it up. You wanted somebody to bring it up.
I don't know why the thought all of a sudden, like I said, about a few months ago, maybe it was 3 months ago, just plopped in my head. Just check it out, and now here I am, and it's. I know you're saying don't go, but I don't know when you've seen it and you know what's out there, and I've found other things I can't talk about right now. I got to see if I'm right first because I found it with satellites and stuff.
You are right. You are right.
Well, we'll see.
No, you are right. We got thermals.
I see it. That's how I've always been. That's why I've always been. I knew what I saw 2 years ago, but it didn't really matter. It was no one's gonna believe me. I know what I saw. That's good enough for me. But then you learn the other side of this, and maybe they aren't the friendly giants of the forest.
They're not. They're not.
Believe if they do exist, and
the predators.
They're more afraid of us than we are of them. I don't think that's it at all.
No.
Maybe up until 2 years ago, maybe because I just saw what I saw when I was a kid, and there's a lot more to that too. But yeah, see, this watch goes on.
See, a lot of people. Anybody can tell you, I ran through the woods, I slept in the woods, I played in the woods when we were younger. Up to 2 to 3 years ago, people started missing doing this.
Yeah.
We've had that influx.
Why the influx? Why now?
Exactly. But also, with the COVID, when the COVID came out, nobody was at parks, nobody was on the road at night. They had a free reign to go wherever they wanted to. So now they're everywhere out.
That's truly what I believe what happened last year. Last year, right before May long, when people get out camping, get out quadding, all of it, jeeping, humans weren't outside as much for a very long time, however long. It doesn't take long for nature to overtake and reclaim what's its, and people don't realize that. And we're out there back in their territory. What's to say that 2 or 3 didn't say, this is our area, we're going to kill a couple people, but the thing is it stopped. Sort of winter rolled in though.
Well, also during the winter time, they were pulling trees and branches. They're building the spring. They're building the spring trap. So when that foliage comes in, they're wherever you see a lot of foliage or pull downs, look in those places. You're going to find footprints or matted down areas. They're watching from those blinds.
That's the thing people don't get. They see these things and they're like, well, it doesn't make sense because it wouldn't fit a Sasquatch. Like, it's not what it's for.
Yeah. Yeah.
They make traps.
Yeah.
You know, they make traps. They're smart. That's what I would do when I was out there, make something look comfortable and then terrify it with infrasound or whatever they use and then eat it.
Yeah. And also, don't volunteer anymore on going out and tracking for anybody.
Okay.
Because we've had other trackers in your same situation in the same exact manner, and luckily these guys made it out. And hopefully one day we can get you connected with some of these people. And what I'm telling you is what, from everything they told me, do not go with, especially with people you don't know. And that friend of yours will turn their back on you once.
We already did.
Once, okay, they will do that because they've already been talked to.
Yep.
So
For sure he's been talked to. It's very obvious.
Let's not have you going out, because they also want to get rid of people who know this stuff.
That's okay. For that, I'm prepared.
Yeah.
I
shouldn't
say that over Facebook or anything, but for that type of situation,
military
and all of it, I know how to protect my home.
Yeah.
Brian, I'm covered when it comes. I know what humans do.
Yeah.
This is a whole other animal.
It is.
You know.
It is. So let's get out and let's look for those blinds around the home. And once you find them, let's make sure those neighbors know. I mean, we just have to do it, you know. And we had this conversation the other night with some other friends that we said, I know how the country is and how we may have neighbors, we hadn't talked to them in 20 years. You know, it's that kind of, you know, we leave them alone, they leave us alone, that kind of attitude. Yeah. But now these things are in flux, they're here. We need everybody aware and knowing. And we also found out by doing that, by this grandmother who we're helping, she started talking to neighbors and she found out that they're having disturbance.
Yeah.
So now they're grouping together, and they're also going to watch this video together. And I told them, watch it during the day so everybody has time to go home and look on their way home for what they're missing, and they'll see these things. So don't be volunteering, go out for tracking. For if they're telling you we need some bears taken care of, that's a code word too. You know.
Well, they already asked. They offered me $1,200 to go out and find this thing and kill it, and I said no.
Yeah.
I said I know what bears do, and I said I know a bear didn't do that. I said I'm not going out there.
Good.
And I know other guys. They made the same offer, and one of them I can't say too much.
Okay. But I understand.
They didn't find anything. One of them is still getting help, and it was just not good. But like I said, I feel like I know what I'm doing out there. I don't know if it's because I'm a sensitive guy. Okay, despite my past and what I've done military-wise, hunting, all of it. That's why I'm able to raise my daughter very well. I've got one of her pink scrunchies on my arm right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's why. I don't feel afraid when I'm out there. When I saw one of these things, when I saw a Sasquatch, I did not feel afraid like most do. There is a part of me that believes that if you're a good person, it doesn't mean that they're not going to hurt you. It just means that at that particular moment, they may recognize that. I don't know. I can't explain why I played in those forests when I was a kid. Like, in a heartbeat, I could have been gone.
Yeah.
I was a good 200 to 500 yards away from the house at all times.
Yeah.
By myself, a lot of it, you know. And when I'm out there now, I feel at peace.
Yeah.
I feel a peacefulness when I'm out there, you know.
Whenever we're all growing, we all had that. We all could sleep out in the forest. We played out there. I mean, I'm back in my area, and I used to run through these forests all the time, but now I won't do it. I won't do it now at night because
we're innocent when we're kids.
Yeah,
well, for the most part.
And there's also, because now I know what to look for.
Yeah.
And right now I see these structures, and I'm helping neighbors and letting them see the DVD so they understand. Because you'll see what you're looking for in this DVD. And we give lessons, trackers, and the only reason you're who you are is because you have a warrior's mentality.
That's funny you said that. Yeah.
Because
I appreciate that.
and there's other guys in the same situation who survived these situations, and we know that it was only because of that person that those situations turns out the way they did.
Yeah, I firmly believe that too.
And that is true. We also what we teach is called a mind protection technique. Now you have to tell your body what to continue to do before you do this. So if you're in a situation and you're getting surrounded, or you're feeling that mind speak or the pressure, and some people get disorganized or sick, but you program your body, say, I need to get to the vehicle with my weapon, watching everything. And then you start to not think about the future, don't think about the present, don't think about the past, don't talk to yourself. Your body knows what to do, but what you're doing right now is you're building a shield, and you don't have an open area now. You have, it's called a mind protection technique. And what they're doing is they're projecting fear. They can mind speak. They can connect to our minds through that in any language. They can speak in any language as long as it's through the mind. But when you put that protection technique up, and your mind completely becomes like a blank screen, but your body knows what to do. It's going to the car, watching for everything. It's programmed. It knows what to do. It's going to get you there. That
sounds like a form of meditation.
It's like a quick one. It's like, I got to protect myself right now.
Yeah.
And
I'm pretty familiar with meditation. Used it lots of times. Learned how to use it really well. So I'll have to try that.
Okay. Now you need to also protect it for practice this technique. You can sit in front of a mirror and just go completely blank, but you're also going to be able to see yourself, and that face is the face that you need to keep when you're looking at these creatures. The face you have right now, it's got to be without expression. It's going to try to pull those expressions out of you, from anger. It may even try to look weak or timid. It's trying to pull your emotions out to connect with you. I was wondering if you heard something, because oh, we lost a little signal. We're going to try to get this back real fast, because this isn't important. But we was also, if we don't get connected back, because he is in a location that is far, but I hope we do get him back. But I was also going to say that Bigfoots will follow you home. So, and they can run up to 55 miles per hour. So once you're leaving a site or a place where you may have an encounter, you want to go at least 65 miles per hour for at least 15 miles away from your camp. If you're a researcher, and we're going to see if he calls back, and if he does, we're going to accept that. But this is also what I want to say, is that if you're a researcher and you're going to research an area, have your camp at least 15 miles away from where you're going to be researching. Your fake camp or your mock camp, that's where you're going to be doing your surveillance and things like that. Before you get to your second camp, to your research camp, already know by using hand signals, body gestures, of how to communicate with each other. You don't need to be talking out there in those areas. Your voice gives you away. The voice will also give them something to mimic. You will, if you're yelling to Joe to bring you a cable, or yelling to Joe to bring you some plaster of Paris, you're going to hear Joe called that night. Keep your voice down when you're out in these areas. Don't speak unless you have to speak. And if you have to speak, you whisper. Remember, you are not the first person these Bigfoots or that Bigfoot has encountered. It knows people. This is not its first time to ever be here. It's thousands of years old, as we are, but you are not the first person it's encountered. It knows by watching the family just down the road a mile. It knows by watching the complex or the apartment buildings of how people yell and scream and play and what calls children home. They know what children stay out at night. They know who walks alone. They know who's out at night. They're watching. They're patient. They're waiting. They're opportunists. They're waiting for you to let your guard down. Children waiting for a bus. Parents, be there with protection to protect your children, especially in the wooded areas. Don't trust a predator around your children ever. Now let's make sure that everybody protects everybody. We're gonna send a message to our new friend and see if our guest tonight would like to be involved in our nightly check-ins, because all of our guests who bring information to us so we can help you with the answers, and to also verify that you are having an encounter, you are having an experience right now. And when you are having these things, it's time to get to know your neighbors. Nobody, no humans need to be fighting other humans. You've got things in your backyards, in your towns, outskirts of town, cities. I know places where they're right in the center of towns, small towns. We need you all to be aware. So hopefully we are going to talk with our guest again. We do want to follow up on this. And if our guests would like, we do want to do a nightly call in just to check in and get updates of activity in their areas. Tomorrow night, we have another guest from Arkansas who is going to give us some updates of activity. The next night, we have a gentleman from Mississippi who's going to give us some updates in that active area. And then we are also going to be speaking with people in Louisiana and the situations and the activity that is happening in their area. And also there are missing people in this same area. So since we lost signal tonight, we're going to go ahead and close, because we are going to pick up whenever our guest is available for more information. We want to stay with this so that we can offer the techniques and the things that we know works, what to look for, and how to. We got the description of the DVD in the comments here. Get the DVD, learn what you need to learn. All of this and more of how we help people and explain certain things is in this DVD. But tomorrow night we will have another man who is experiencing some things. The next night after that, the same thing, and the next night after that is a female who is experiencing the same things. But we will be checking in on everyone we interview, because this is a serious matter to us. It's a serious matter to them, and we hope it's a serious matter to you, because this affects you whether you know it or not. You may not know these things are in your area. So I want to thank everybody, for tuning in tonight. We will get back with this same guest. We'll be checking in on everyone we interview, because this is a serious matter to us. It's a serious matter to them, and we hope it's a serious matter to you, because this affects you whether you know it or not. You may not know these things are in your area. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We will be back on tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Time Zone, with another guest and more activity. We're here to help. If you have an activity area, you have questions, please give us a call or a message. Leave a message. We'll get with you and schedule a time. Or, like a lot of people, we don't want to schedule unless they want to talk later. But we want to talk to you right now if you're having problems. We don't have to schedule something. We will talk to you on the phone, communicate with you, because we want you to know what to look for and how to protect your family. We're probably the only people who will do this and are here to help you. We know people need help. So thank you very much. We're sorry that we got cut off. That was a long distance phone call. And plus, he only had a little time to talk with us. So we are thankful for that time. And we do appreciate you, guest. I'm going to leave the name out for right now. But I do appreciate you for calling in, giving us that information so we can help you with what we help others with. When you can, give us a contact or give us a call. Contacts in the message. We'll set it up again. And if we can, let's do this before you go camping. Let's go through a couple things we need you looking for, and things that we can help you with. Is what we're looking for. We need you to get us some more questions so we can give you some more answers. Sorry about that. So thank you very much, everybody. I do appreciate you tuning in and learning with the people who need these answers. We appreciate you to also share this video. Maybe it's to someone else who may be having an encounter or a problem. They may need answers, and these videos and these past videos may have those answers. If not, shoot us a comment from time to time, and we'll get that in there. We'll get you that answer. So again, thank you very much, and everyone have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Time Zone. More answers to your questions. Thank you.